if you are a serious student, truth becomes paramount. Anything false is just not tolerated. You can't be a scholar unless you make that an ingrained part of yourself. And I mentioned earlier that my father was an electrician. He did not have a lot of formal education, but I learned a lot from him. When we had an evening meal, we all had to be at supper. That was a rule in our house. And every once in a while, one of my brothers would say, down at the plant today, some guy said such and such or something. And my father would say, how do you know where that guy got that information? What are his sources? This is my father, who was not highly educated, but I learned from that. So I think I try to make my students be much more critical of what's around them, because there's not an awful lot around us today, always was. It's phony, false, partially true, and they're better people if they recognize really true things and ideas over things that are ephemeral or not true at all. That's one of the things that learning does for you. I have been critical of a lot of things. We have an ideal in the College of Arts and Sciences of the humanities. The humanities are supposed to be the key central part of all our learning, and I don't question that. But in the learning process, you also have to have discipline. Discipline is essential. Now, what are the subjects where you learn discipline? Physics, chemistry, mathematics, and foreign languages. So, if I look at the way the humanities curriculum runs, I ask myself, how many of the students who take a class in a language can speak that language at all? They take special classes in mathematics, which some of us call almost mathematics. They take a low-level chemistry class, which we call almost chemistry, you see. But those are the disciplines. During the course of a class, you try to ask provocative questions to draw your students out, to get them to respond, to get them to react. And that, I think, is an extremely important thing in teaching. I gave my students an outline of a whole semester, telling them what I was going to talk about each class of the semester. So they all knew what was going to happen in a class before they came. And I preached to them that they should do their study before they came to class. That 1 hour of study before the class was worth 2 hours afterwards. And that way I got a pretty good reaction in getting students involved in what I was doing. Well, you must remember I was in scientific work, and one of the elements of science that you can't escape is the fact that it's creative. You're always delving, you're always trying to find out something that hasn't been known before. So how do we get students to do this? Well, by this time I'd become a department chairman, and I instituted a requirement for all our seniors. They had to do a research thesis in their senior years, undergraduates now. And I think it's one of the best things I ever did. The students became excited. They started digging in the literature. They started asking if they could work in a certain lab at night. And they had to give a presentation, a seminar, in the second semester of the senior year on what they had been doing. And all this, well, I shouldn't say all the students, many of the students who were at least majors in chemistry came, professors came, and many of their parents came for the seminar. And they were delightful. Now, I've learned something I don't totally understand. The students who gave those seminars, especially today, came in there using PowerPoint on the computer. And I wondered how they learned it. You know, nobody taught them. They learned it from each other. And they all knew it. We didn't have to teach PowerPoint. They were all familiar with it and made wonderful presentations at that time.